my enabled adopted's disruptive antics. So I filed for divorce on our night one after 7 years together. Ethan and I finally walked down the aisle. I put on exquisite bridal makeup and my most beautiful bridal gown. There were no games at the door. No hidden wedding shoes. I was filled with anticipation for his arrival. The moment the door opened, Ethan's adopted sister led the charge, spraying silly string everywhere. The room instantly transformed from red to white, and Ethan completely ignored it. Worse, at his adopted sister's signal, I was pinned down by several unknown men, who then took embarrassing photos. On our wedding night, I laid the divorce papers directly in front of him. Ethan didn't understand, thinking I was overreacting. Chloe just wanted our wedding to be lively. She didn't cause you any real harm. She's young and doesn't know any better. As her sister-in-law, you should be more understanding with her. You can be as understanding as you want, but I can't. I had specifically told him I didn't want silly string or disruptive wedding antics. And he had promised me aged ensure it, yet he compromised every time for Chloe. If that's how it is, I'll grant them their wish. Sign it. 1. Seeing my resolute attitude, Ethan frowned impatiently and kicked the chair away. Weddings are supposed to be lively. Chloe was just playing a joke on you. There's no need to take it so seriously, is there? Besides, we just got married. If we divorce now, what will people say about my reputation? He always used her age as an excuse. A few days ago, on my 27th birthday, I wore beautiful makeup and a carefully prepared dress, only to have Chloe smash a cake all over me. And you, as my boyfriend, noticed my mood was off. But you didn't think she did anything wrong. Instead, you casually dismissed it, saying she was just young and playful. Because of that incident, embarrassing photos of me circulated wildly in high society circles. Chloe offered a feigned apology and said I could smash one back. Without a second thought, I picked up a cake, but Ethan swatted it away. He accused me of being relentless, ruining everyone's fun. He knew Chloe had put effort into her makeup and outfit, and he knew she'd cry if cream got on her. He couldn't bear for her to feel even the slightest bit wronged. Ethan irritably tugged at his tie, speaking in a near condescending tone. I'll throw you another birthday party, or we can have another wedding. There are so many solutions. Don't use divorce as a threat. Just as I was about to say something, the sound of breaking glass came from outside the door. Ethan looked anxious as he went to the living room to check. He saw Chloe looking at him with tear-filled eyes. Ethan, am I too clumsy? I just wanted to make some hot herbal tea for cramps. Ethan shook his head and gently picked her up, settling her onto the sofa. Ara's the smartest girl. If your stomach hurts because of your period, don't move around too much. Grace and I can take care of you. Then unceremoniously directed me. Grace, go to the kitchen and make Chloe a cup of hot herbal tea for cramps. She drank a cold beverage at the wedding reception. Remember to add ginger to ward off the cold. And make sure the water boils completely. Chloe is allergic to unboiled water. I scoffed. Ethan, you remember she's allergic to unboiled water. But we've been together for 7 years, and you can't remember I'm allergic to ginger? A flicker of shock crossed Ethan's eyes, and he explained. A bit guiltily, I just forgot in the heat of the moment. Ethan tried to say more, but Chloe put on another tearful, wronged expression. Ethan, it's all my fault for trying to take Grace's place toasting. I can make the hot herbal tea for cramps myself. I don't need to bother Grace. How could she have the nerve to say she took my place toasting? During the toasting, I had to go clean up and change. When I returned to the wedding venue, I found Chloe, in a red gown, by Ethan's side, toasting at every table. Anyone who didn't know would have thought she was the bride. Seeing my silence, Chloe cried even harder. Whenever was present, she would start crying after I'd barely said a few words. It always made people mistakenly believe I had bullied her, just like now. Ethan gave me a displeased look, then tenderly wiped away Chloe's tears. I've just spoiled you too much. You make a fuss over the smallest things. If you don't want to do something, just say it. Don't take it out on innocent people. He still didn't realize that his supposedly innocent sister was, at that very moment, looking at me with the eyes of a victor. She mouthed silently. Homewrecker. The pent-up emotions finally erupted. Chapter 2. I fought back tears and asked the question that had been weighing on my heart for 7 years. You say you treat Chloe as a sister, so I'm practically her sister-in-law, right? But from the engagement to the wedding, she never called me sister-in-law, and you tacitly allowed it, didn't you? Just because she liked a wedding gown I chose, you made me fulfill my duty as her sister-in-law and magnanimously give her the gown. You even gave her the wedding ring I designed myself. Ethan, are your feelings for her truly just brotherly love? Or am I just a cover-up for your relationship, Grace? Before I could finish, Ethan's face darkened, and he sharply cut me off. Chloe hadn't expected me to expose the truth. She cried uncontrollably, picking up a fruit knife and threatening to prove her innocence. Ethan softly comforted Chloe, his disdain for me unconcealed. Before we dated, I made it very clear to you that Chloe is the daughter of my savior, and I promised to take care of her for life. You never objected then, but now you're bringing up old issues, just for an insignificant title. You're being passive-aggressive with me. A jaded person sees everything as tainted. I won't sign the divorce papers. Whether you sign or not is your business. I can file for divorce. I coldly turned and slammed the door, returning to the bedroom. After 7 years together, I remembered every single incident involving him and Chloe, because each one had deeply wounded me. Between me and Chloe, Ethan's first choice was always Chloe. A short while later, the news of me filing for divorce on our wedding night quickly reached Eleanor, who called to lecture me. Chloe's father died saving Ethan. What's wrong with Ethan taking care of her more? As his wife, you shouldn't be so overly jealous. Ethan's company finally went public. If you can't help him solve problems, then don't create more. Besides, Chloe studied abroad. With her knowledge, she can definitely help Ethan with work. As for you, just take good care of the siblings' daily lives. My fists clenched involuntarily, and my resolve for divorce grew even stronger. When wanted to study abroad, Ethan couldn't afford the high tuition on his own. I felt sympathetic and paid out of my own pocket, along with Ethan, to support her through her studies abroad. Grace, if you're sincere with my family, I will pour out my heart to you in return. But what I got was him pouring out his heart to Chloe. I curtly hung up the phone and lay exhausted on the bed. My thoughts drifted back to the past. Ethan and I met at the university welcome reception. I was representing the college, performing the cello. From then on, he began relentlessly pursuing me. I casually mentioned I wanted a berry cake, and he braved the rain, searching every cake shop in Capital City, finally delivering the cake to me by hand. Even with a fever, Grace, I got the berry cake you wanted. Will you consider being my girlfriend? He asked softly, a little shyly. I took the cake and shyly nodded. At the graduation ceremony, he wore his graduation gown and knelt on one knee, pulling out a diamond ring to propose to me. Grace, will you marry me? I will. Yes, I nodded, eyes brimming with tears. Afterward, I used my salary to help fund his startup, lived with him in a gloomy basement apartment, and even worked multiple part-time jobs to ensure our basic living expenses. Later, the company received a huge investment, and it grew bigger and bigger. Ethan's net worth jumped, and he transferred 5% of the company's shares to my name. But after Chloe returned to the country, everything changed. Ethan transferred my shares to Chloe, and even gave her 5% of his own shares, just to celebrate Chloe's successful return from studying abroad. When I questioned him, Ethan was dismissive. We're getting married soon, so my shares are yours anyway. Chloe is a girl and needs these to establish herself in society. We had a huge fight, and perhaps that's when an indelible crack appeared in our relationship. Chapter 3. I woke up to find I had been crying in my dream. I packed my suitcase and moved downstairs, habitually preparing to breakfast. Just then, Chloe came downstairs wearing a lace-slip nightgown, her eyebrows slightly raised. She shed her usual meekness and commanded, I don't eat fried eggs. Throw this away and make me a boiled egg. I was so amused I laughed, snatching the plate from her hand. Don't you have hands and feet? Or are you a giant baby who hasn't been weaned yet? Make it yourself if you want it. The moment I finished speaking, she yanked my hand abruptly, leaned back, and fell to the floor. Bang! With a crash, I was forcefully pushed to the ground. My right wrist instinctively braced my fall, and an old injury flared with a burning pain. Wen was fighting for land in the suburbs. His rival sent people to ambush him. As they raised their handgun to shoot him, I extended my right hand, blocking the fatal shot. The bullet lodged in my bone, and blood poured out. I was rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment. When I woke up, he held up 3 fingers and swore a solemn oath. I, Ethan, will love Grace with my life for all eternity and will never betray her in the slightest. If I break this vow, I'll be abandoned by all and die a terrible death. Now, whenever anything involved Chloe, he lost all reason. He no longer trusted me as before. It was as if he had become my adversary. Ethan frantically helped Chloe up, asking softly if she was hurt. Chloe leaned into his arms, whining tearfully. Ethan? I told Grace that my stomach wasn't feeling well from my hangover and asked her to change my fried egg to a boiled egg, and she pushed me down without saying anything. Ethan's face immediately darkened, his brows furrowed as he turned to look at me. Grace, you are Chloe's sister-in-law now. The older sister-in-law is like a mother. What's wrong with you taking care of Chloe? I calmly gathered the plate. I'm divorcing you soon. I'm not her sister-in-law, nor can I bear that title. At this point, Ethan noticed my suitcase by the door. What are you doing? He asked angrily. I'm planning to move out. Let me know when the divorce papers are signed, and we'll go to the city clerk's office to get it done. As for asset division, it's clearly stated in the divorce papers. If you have any questions, talk to my lawyer. You want a divorce that badly? His face instantly fell, his tone icy. No one cared about the disruptive wedding antics yesterday. Why are you dwelling on it? Our love doesn't need formalities to prove itself. I was speechless. After 7 years together, he still didn't understand why I wanted a divorce. He paused and then added, I'll have someone delete those photos circulating online. The photos of me being pinned down by several unknown men at the wedding were already common knowledge, and my reputation in capital cities' social circles was ruined. He only thought of deleting them now. Didn't he think it was too late? Bang! Ethan threw a gift bag at my feet. A dazzling rose necklace appeared. Knowing you like roses, Chloe specifically asked someone to acquire this necklace as an apology. If only you could be half as sensible as Chloe. Hearing this, I couldn't help but scoff, kicking the bothersome necklace away. Grace, if you don't like it, just say so. Why humiliate me? Ethan also yelled that I had no manners. You two are the most well-mannered people I've ever seen, giving a fake as an apology and throwing a gift at someone's feet. Grace, just because you haven't seen high-end goods, you can't lie and say the necklace I gave you is fake. Chloe symbolically whimpered a few times, clutching Ethan's shirt at his chest, claiming she hadn't bought a fake. I was so disgusted I felt like throwing up the breakfast I'd just eaten. Between the two of us, you're the one who hasn't seen the world, not me. Chapter 4. Too tired to argue with them, I retrieved my car keys from Chloe's backpack. You borrowed this car for a few days, but you really think it's yours now. Before leaving, I set down the divorce papers and urged them again. Sign the papers quickly, scumbag. No sooner had I moved into Olivia's place than Chloe updated her social media posts. An uncultured bumpkin can't appreciate this expensive necklace. She even included a video of Ethan helping her put on the necklace. In just a few seconds, Ethan immediately liked her post. When did Ethan stop paying attention to my social media posts? Olivia gnashed her teeth. They're both blind. They can't tell that necklace is a counterfeit. Chloe is parading around wearing a fake. Doesn't she have any shame? Yes. Ethan was blind and couldn't tell. For the next 3 weeks, Chloe's social media posts never stopped, and Ethan appeared in every single one of them. The latest post showed a photo of the two of them at Disney, wearing nominal couples outfits and matching watches. Zooming in, I could clearly see Ethan's wedding ring was no longer on his left ring finger. When I first started dating, he also bought me couples charms, matching mugs, couples outfits, but slowly, those things gathered dust, and he grew to dislike them, finding them childish. Yet now, to make Chloe happy, he went to Disney, the place I'd most wanted to visit with him, and picked up those things he once deemed childish. Olivia was so angry she wanted to confront Ethan. She picked up both our phones and ranted furiously on Chloe's social media posts. I stayed at Olivia's house for a month, but I still hadn't received the divorce papers from Ethan. He sent me a message with an address. Need to talk to you about something. I thought it was about the divorce, but when I arrived, I realized he wanted me to apologize to the victim's family on Chloe's behalf. Chloe just started working and isn't familiar with things. She accidentally modified some important data, which caused a collapse at the construction site. Some workers were slightly injured, but I've already compensated them. You just need to apologize to them on Chloe's behalf. Ethan grabbed my arm tightly, making me unable to move. I won't help. She made her own mess. She should deal with it. It has nothing to do with me. Chloe fainted and was hospitalized when she heard the bad news. As her sister-in-law, can't you help her out like a mother would? I wondered how many times I had been nice to them or endured their provocations for them to think I was such an easy target. I forcefully stepped on his foot and turned to leave. Ethan was enraged and abruptly yanked me back. Then he pulled me into a private room and locked the door. Inside the private room were 5 women around 30 years old, some with children or elderly people. One of the more robust women raised her hand and viciously slapped me across the face. I stumbled to the ground, a wave of dizziness washing over me. Chloe, it's all because of you that my husband was crushed at the construction site and is now paralyzed. Do you think that little bit of dirty money can buy us off? I'm telling you, no way. I struggled to my feet and explained, you've got the wrong person. I'm not Chloe. If you have a grievance, go find her. Before I finished, another brutal slap landed. The other party let out a hysterical roar. You look down on us for being poor, but that doesn't mean you can treat human lives as worthless. My husband worked diligently, only to be pushed out as a scapegoat because of you. There were also children's helpless cries. Give me back my daddy. An elderly person sobbed heartbrokenly. My son. You heartless people. I was pressed to the ground and kicked and punched by everyone. An elder's cane struck my bones, and a child's utensils cut my skin. I curled up in pain, repeatedly refuting, I'm really not Chloe. You've got the wrong person. But the other party didn't stop. Instead, they hit me even harder. I tried to call for help from Ethan outside the door, but no matter how much I pounded on the door, there was no response from outside. Finally, they grew tired and stopped. I barely managed to cling to life. My entire body was bruised, and my clothes were torn. I put on a discarded jacket and saw Ethan comforting Chloe by the restroom door. Ethan, I really didn't mean it. I didn't know the company had new data. It's normal for you to not know. Given your limited experience, after helps you resolve this, find some time to treat her to a meal, or send her some jewelry she likes. I was so enraged my whole body trembled. To hell with a peaceful divorce. I had plenty of money. I didn't care for her fake goods. Seizing the moment when they weren't paying attention, I walked up to them and slapped each of them across the face, leaving clear 5 finger marks. Ethan's eyes turned bloodshot as he pointed at my nose and roared, Grace, what are you doing? Ethan, you better be ready to lose everything. This is the last time you'll enjoy the financial authority I granted you. Chapter 5. Ethan had lost face in public and furiously chased me out of the hotel. Just then, Olivia drove up to pick me up. So that's why you were so eager to divorce me. It turns out you've found a sugar daddy. After he said that, I noticed Olivia was driving a Rolls-Royce. I scoffed. A jaded person sees everything as tainted. With that, Olivia got out of the car, pulled down her clothes, and kicked Ethan in the groin. Scumbag. Get your filthy hands off her. Ethan curled up on the ground in pain, beads of cold sweat appearing on his forehead. Amidst gasps of surprise, Chloe stumbled over. Ethan, are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? Olivia scoffed. Disgusted, you'd better take him to the hospital quickly, otherwise your happiness with him in the future might be jeopardized. Chloe was speechless, struggling to help Ethan up. Before they left, Ethan asked me, who exactly are you? Ethan, don't let them fool you. I often see this woman at bars. Who knows? Maybe this luxury car was given to her by someone who's keeping her. I held back Olivia, who was about to act, and retorted, sour grapes. I'm just kindly reminding you that you don't have many good days left. With that, Olivia and I left without looking back. As the car was moving, I felt waves of sharp pain in my abdomen, and a trickle of blood ran down my thighs. Olivia noticed my discomfort and anxiously said, Grace, hold on, I'm taking you to the hospital right away. My consciousness blurred, and I fainted before I could answer. When I reopened my eyes, the strong smell of disinfectant filled my nostrils. I struggled to sit up. Seeing this, Olivia's eyes reddened as she helped me up, forcing back her tears to tell me, Grace, the doctor said you were severely injured, and you lost the baby. I froze in place, unsure what expression to make. My hand instinctively went to my abdomen. How far along was it? The doctor said 1 month. Tears immediately flowed uncontrollably. It was my oversight that I hadn't realized the baby's arrival. Suddenly, the hospital room door opened, and Margaret walked to my bedside, her face streaming with tears. She tenderly stroked my cheek. Daughter, William and I arrived too late. Even, who was not usually expressive, silently wiped away tears from the corners of his eyes. I shook my head. I overestimated Ethan's feelings for me. As I spoke, Margaret's gaze fell on my abdomen, and a wave of sadness crossed her face. It's a pity. This child was not meant to be with our ruined family. Ethan doesn't deserve to be the father of this child. And I couldn't give the child a complete family. Perhaps its departure was for the best. Grace, what are your plans now? Will you stay in Capital City or come back to Riverside City with us? William's eyes gleamed with anticipation. I was trained from a young age by my parents to be an heir, but I never imagined I would come to Capital City for a poor boy in adulthood. concealing my talents. I settled for a small company and became a stay-at-home wife who rarely left the house. Now is getting older, and many things are beyond his capacity. It's time for me to go back and help him. William, I'm going back to Riverside City to take over the company. I'm going to make Ethan pay for what he's done. Chapter 6. Ethan's company's operational model was a replica of the ruins. The funding Ethan initially received was also secretly invested by William. But in recent years, Ethan's company projects have repeatedly failed, and because of Chloe's thoughtless actions, he had lost an unknown amount of money. William had suggested acquiring Ethan's company a long time ago, which might prevent the risk of bankruptcy. At that time, I still held out hope for Ethan, desperately trying to preserve the memories we shared, but he had long forgotten them. Half a month after moving home, my body quickly recovered under my parents' care. I once again fully immersed myself in work, occasionally seeing gossip about Ethan and Chloe in social media posts, and my next encounter with him arrived quickly. I was invited to an investors' conference. Various companies were all hoping to receive investment from the ruin. I arrived at the conference wearing a high-end evening gown, and amidst the flattery, I noticed Ethan and Chloe, surrounded by a crowd. Chloe truly acted as if she were Ethan's wife, chatting happily with the wealthy socialites around her. Just then, someone noticed my presence, and gasps erupted. Ethan's wife? Didn't Chloe say she was missing? How is she here? Ethan's wife's evening gown is from an internationally renowned brand. Their lead designer's gowns are only supplied to the family heiress. Ethan's wife's surname is Ruin. Could it be? Before the sentence was finished, Chloe gritted her teeth and said, "Impossible." Noticing her emotions were too agitated, she dropped her fierce expression and walked towards me with a smile. "Grace, Ethan and I were very worried about you. If you just apologized to Ethan, wouldn't we have a beautiful life together?" I inwardly sneered. She spoke such lies without even blushing. Who would want to live with a scumbag? "Excuse me, your hand got my gown dirty." With that, I turned and instantly bumped into Ethan's embrace. He tightly gripped my arm, completely disregarding the disparity in our strength. Unable to bear it any longer, I slapped him across the face. "Ethan, what are you doing? Let go of my hand." Chloe quickly stepped forward, separating us. She scrutinized me from head to toe, her voice full of bitterness. "Grace, after you and Ethan talked about divorce, you disappeared. We were worried you weren't doing well. But who knew you'd be wearing luxury brands after leaving us?" Chloe was practically implying I was being kept by someone. Hearing this, Ethan frowned slightly, his eyes icy cold, and he tugged at my shawl. "Grace, how dare you say you didn't cheat and didn't find someone else?" Grace, don't need a man to live better, unlike some clingy and dependent women who are neither attractive nor useful. Chloe's face grew increasingly ugly. "You're just an ordinary employee at a mediocre company. With your abilities, forget wearing luxury goods, you probably wouldn't even see them." I looked down at the dazzling evening gown I was wearing. It was just one of Margaret's many designs, and in their mouths, it became a priceless treasure. "Grace, I won't sign the divorce papers." "You'd better come back obediently," I sneered. "If you don't divorce me, then how can Chloe marry you legitimately, right Chloe?" At these words the banquet guests gasped, their gazes toward Chloe becoming complicated. "What are you talking about? Don't slander Chloe and me. We are completely innocent." His words made my heart ache. "Completely innocent? You wear matching watches with her. You let her wear my wedding ring and my wedding gown. You even let her ruin my wedding and replace me in toasting our friends and family." Whispers rose and fell, mostly critical remarks. I evaded Chloe's outstretched hand, and she naturally fell backward into Ethan's arms, looking pitiful. I disdainfully turned to leave, but Ethan released Chloe and gently pulled my arm. "The company's current situation isn't good. I know your capabilities. The company and I both need you." I disgustedly shook off his hand. "I came here today for the company." Chapter 7. The conference began. I did not sit in the front row with the ruin representatives. Companies sent representatives to present their investment projects for us to choose from. The group was one of the top-tier companies among them, so Ethan was naturally scheduled as the final speaker. As prepared to speak, the ruin representative glanced at me, then interrupted Ethan. Chloe, sitting below, was indignant. "Hey, why did you old man interrupt him? You're getting senile." "Miss, think before you speak. Our CEO said we will not invest in any projects related to the G." Hearing this, Chloe was so angry she rolled up her sleeves. Intending to go up, Ethan quickly came down to scold her. "Chloe, don't cause trouble. Get back to your seat." Then he nodded subserviently and patiently asked, "I wonder if your company has some misunderstanding about ours? I'm just an employee. Please ask our CEO, Ms. Ruin." With that, the representative walked up to me and respectfully said, "Ms. Ruin, have you found any suitable projects?" At these words, the room erupted. Grace isn't really the family heiress, is she? This is truly a story of a rich girl falling for a poor boy. I always felt Grace had such a strong presence in her demeanor at banquets. Thinking about it, isn't that the innate composure of a born leader? Ethan looked at me in disbelief. "You're really the family heiress? Why did you lie to me? Was it fun playing games with me?" I regretted that my sincerity had been trampled. All my countless hours of companionship were seen by him as deception and games. It's my prerogative to speak or not. It's not for you to control me. If I'm not mistaken, all the money invested in the G's projects this year went down the drain. I have a lot of money, but I'm not foolish. There's no need to make a losing deal. I can invest in the G, but it will be in a different way. Ethan tentatively asked, "Are you planning to acquire the G?" I smiled faintly, remaining silent. Ethan anxiously blocked my path, demanding, "Grace, explain yourself." The next second, two bodyguards in the banquet hall quickly stepped forward and restrained Ethan. No matter how Ethan roared, I would not turn my head back again. The next day, the G's stock price plummeted, and the Ruins board of directors passed the resolution to acquire the G. Ethan appeared downstairs at the Ruin building, looking completely disheveled. He didn't leave even late into the night. He saw me approach, put out the cigarette in his hand, and said sincerely, "Grace, please give me another chance, okay?" I was expressionless, even utterly disgusted. "Ethan, I've given you countless chances. I don't want to anymore, and you don't deserve me to give you a chance." Ethan unconsciously raised his voice. "Chloe is the daughter of my savior. Before he died, he entrusted his daughter to me, and I promised him I would take good care of her. Why won't you try to put yourself in my shoes? She was just messing around with you. She didn't harm you at all." Hearing his sophistry, my heart felt dead. I deliberately put distance between us, speaking indifferently. "Then, did you know? After you forced me to apologize to the victims' families on her behalf, I miscarried due to their beating." As I spoke, I pulled a miscarriage certificate from my bag and threw it at his face. "The baby was already a month old, because of you two. I didn't notice the heavens-sent blessing. I failed to protect him. After all this, do you still have the nerve to say she didn't harm me?" Just as I finished speaking, Chloe appeared, standing beside Ethan. "Ethan, even if she acquires the company, I can still help you make a comeback, just as you once accompanied me through dark times." Chapter 8. Ethan shook off Chloe's hand. "Know your place. I only took care of you because of your father. You wish you could compare to Grace. You'd better disappear from my sight and get as far away as possible." Ethan's voice drew onlookers, who stopped to watch. Chloe seemed unable to bear the scornful gazes from all directions. She held back her sobs and asked, "After all these years, can you honestly say you haven't felt anything for me?" Ethan gripped Chloe's neck, his voice cold. "What are you? If it weren't for your father, I wouldn't even give you a second look." Chloe struggled free from Ethan's grasp, sobbing as she fled. Ethan looked at me with tender eyes. "Grace, let's sit down and talk, okay? There's nothing to talk about between us. The acquisition of the G is a done deal. As for the divorce papers, if you don't sign them, we'll see each other in court in 3 days." As I spoke, Ethan, surprisingly, cast aside his pride and knelt at my feet. "Grace, I truly know I was wrong. If we divorce, there will be no possibility for us again. Please give me one more chance." This scene reminded me of Ethan's marriage proposal. He had tripped due to nerves. Falling to his knees before me, my heart felt at peace, and I softly said with tears in my eyes, "Okay." With that, I turned and walked away without looking back, while bodyguards blocked Ethan, who tried to approach. The night before the court hearing, I finished the final touches on the acquisition plan and returned home. As soon as I entered the parking lot, a wooden bat struck the back of my head. I clung to my last bit of consciousness, turned, and saw Chloe's distorted face. When I woke up again, my hands and feet were bound with rope, and I was in an abandoned warehouse. Chloe slowly walked towards me, a dagger tracing my face. "I truly hate you. Why do all the good things always happen to you? If it weren't for you, I could have married Ethan. I'm about to divorce him. You can certainly be with him until you're old. There's no need to risk going to prison by kidnapping me." Meeting my gaze, Chloe threw her head back and laughed. "You say that so easily. Now everyone knows you're the family heiress. Do you think Ethan will even see me? Now, a company is gone too. Hell, just blame everything on me. We'll never have a chance again. My heart involuntarily trembled, and my shoulders shook uncontrollably. Chloe suddenly grabbed my hair. Since I got you, you won't get anything either. The moment she finished speaking, she raised the dagger and plunged it towards my chest. The next second, as I closed my eyes, no pain came. Chloe, Ethan shouted, gripping the dagger. Warm blood dripped from the dagger onto my face. Chloe let go in horror, backing away. Ethan softly comforted me, slowly untying the rope. Don't be afraid. I won't let you get hurt again. Chloe's eyes were bloodshot. She picked up the dagger from the ground and stabbed Ethan in the leg, screaming hysterically, Ethan, what about me is worse than her? Why do you never see how good I am to you? I kept shaking my head. Ethan, let go of me now. Ethan smiled, raising his hand to wipe the tears from my face. It's all right, as long as you're not hurt. Chloe's emotions completely shattered. She raised the dagger again, yelling, don't you love her? I'll make sure you're together. Suddenly, a gunshot rang out, knocking the dagger from Chloe's hand. A siren pierced the dark night sky. The police subdued Chloe, and Ethan was rushed to the hospital. After emergency treatment, Ethan was out of danger but remained in a coma. Chloe was sentenced to death for attempted murder. On the day Chloe's death sentence was carried out, the hospital informed me that Ethan had regained consciousness. I've signed the divorce papers, and I've also signed the contract to acquire the G. All right. Nothing else. I'm leaving now. Get some rest. I gathered the documents, turned to leave, but Ethan called out to me. Grace, I'm sorry. I hope you can forgive me. I took a deep breath. I don't forgive you. Not every apology warrants forgiveness. The pain Ethan had inflicted on me was deeply ingrained, and I couldn't simply let it go. Soon after, I learned from Olivia that Ethan had been diagnosed with cancer and had given up on treatment. The second year after our divorce, Ethan died of late-stage cancer. Under my management, the ruin expanded internationally, joining the ranks of internationally renowned enterprises. At that point, love was dispensable to me. It was merely a seasoning for my monotonous life. That's all for today's story. Thank you for listening. This is my channel. The tales I share, drawn from life or woven from imagination, are meant to offer you connection, reflection, and perhaps solace or newfound strength. If you long to see your own reflection in others' journeys, or seek a glimmer of light within the maze of emotions, subscribe to my channel. Listen with your heart. Explore the stories of life.